What's up, everybody? We hope you're doing good. Thank you for listening to the Whatcast. Mike, how you doing, man?
Well, I am doing just wonderful, Mateo. Just wonderful. How's everything with you?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
Who's gonna listen anyway? Am I right?
Things are looking up.
Well, that's always good.
And by that, I mean I got a bunch of cool new comics on the way.
Always a perk. New comic. I remember when I was a avid collector, and I would look forward to Wednesdays every week. I couldn't wait to go and get my new haul that week, and then go home and be a big nerd and look through them all, and then bag and board.
You were one of those cool dudes that had like a cubby at the comic shop, though. So they were literally just pulling titles for you. Oh man.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like the one shop that I would go to, they basically just had this, checklist of all the comics that came out, and then they had like a bunch of blank lines. So if they're like miniseries that were coming out, they would just write it in for you. So it was all right there. You just tell them they put it all in.
Man.
It was pretty sweet. And one of the shops that I used to because I had two shops, one to the east of me, one to the west of me. They're about the same distance. So it was really, I would kind of, pick one or the other who I was going to get certain books through. And one of them actually offered a 10% discount if you had a prescription or subscription with them. But you had to have a minimum of 3 titles per month to get that, which was fucking cake.
Yeah, that's easy to
for
do
me at the time. I was getting like 10, 12 titles a month.
Wow. And that should give you a hint of how complete Mike's collection is.
Yeah, but it's all like from a very specific era. I was getting everything. There was a period of time where if there was Spider-Man in the title, I was getting it. I didn't care if it was a one-shot, a mini-series, the ongoing series. Like, it didn't matter. If Spider-Man was in the title, I was picking that book up. So, like, I've got... My Spider-Man collection is huge, but it's primarily from the early 2000s.
That's cool, though, dude. I just got that Spider-Man cover where Thanos is basically, his hand's huge, and it's holding up Spider-Man's battered body. And I didn't even know, but when it got here, I looked at it, and it's done by Rick Leonardi. I wish I would have had that one at the con.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've got an Alien... Is that Alien versus Predator? Yeah. Alien versus Predator miniseries that was done by Leonardi.
Really?
Yeah.
That would have been rad too, dude.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty valuable one, and it was fairly recently that it came out, but I guess they didn't do a really big run on it. So like issue number 1 is worth quite a bit of money now. So that's pretty cool.
I bet.
And it's a cool story too, And so and it was one of those I just kind of got on a whim. I just picked it up, and just because it was there when I went to the shop, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pick this one up. And then I got the whole series because the first issue was awesome.
That's cool. That's cool when you just grab one for the heck of it and it ends up being a great run.
Yeah, I love that shit.
I sent you the picture. It's the one on the bottom left.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have seen that one.
Yeah, it's a famous image. I didn't know
That's such a fucking cool cover.
It is. I didn't know Leonardi did that one. I've seen it a million times, but I got those spawns, dude. I've wanted for a long time, especially that number 4.
The one with the Devastator cover, or not Devastator? What the fuck's his
name?
Violator. Yeah, I'm thinking fucking Transformers. With the giant evil one that all they combined to form Devastator.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, more than meets.
Well, we're not here to talk about comic books, although what we're going to talk about could be a fucking comic book.
It actually is a comic book.
I actually have it.
Yeah, I got the free comic book day preview of it, but that I haven't seen any. I haven't seen it around, so I haven't picked up the actual issue. But I do have the preview issue from free comic book day, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I got the Frank Francetta cover. I love it.
Yeah, that was he did the cover for the preview as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell you today I picked up Ragman number 2. How about that, Cousin Shane?
Shit.
Cousin Shane won the if you've heard about Ragman and can prove you have Ragman shit at home contest. So I got to send him some stuff, but I've been it's a 30-cent comic. I didn't know Ragman was that old.
Oh yeah, I didn't either. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture. I forget who did the first like three, but you know who it is. But it's just they're so interesting. They're not normal comic book covers; are almost paintings like Alex Ross esque, and it's weird to see. Right, like you can see his human skin under his mask, eye holes. It's weird. It's very creepy. But although I said we're not here to talk about comic books, and we started talking about comics again.
And then we proceeded to immediately talk about comic books.
We're going to talk about some modern day Mothman sightings. Mike came across an episode of the new Unsolved Mysteries that talked about updated sightings about the Michigan Mothman and the Chicago Mothman.
Yeah, dude. I was so when I saw, because I don't really watch Netflix all that much, and my girlfriend was I just happened to come in the room and I'm like, oh, what are you watching, murder porn? Because that's what she does. And she's like, no, I'm watching the new Unsolved Mysteries. I'm like, what? There's a new Unsolved Mysteries? I got so pumped. And then I looked through the titles. I'm like, there's a fucking Mothman episode. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Dude, I was so impressed with that episode, the new Unsolved Mysteries. I loved how there's no narrator because they kind of finally took the approach of nobody's going to replace Robert Stack.
Right.
So
yeah.
They let like the people who were in like each segment be the narrator. I found that to be perfect, and I'm so stoked to watch the rest of them.
Yeah, they're fucking good, man. Like I think Netflix has done 3 seasons now, or maybe it's 4.
It's 4. I was surprised. I was surprised to see that it was 4. I knew that they did it, and when it came out, I didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah, I had no idea this new one came out. But I like how each season there's at least one like paranormal or, you know, alien related episode in addition to like the weird murders and disappearances. And this one was fucking awesome because when it said revisited, I thought they were going to be like covering the original Mothman sightings, but like with new eyes, like covering it again with new investigators and talking to new witnesses or something. And I was very surprised that it was the Chicago Mothman primarily, and it wasn't all the Mothman either,
right?
Which was interesting.
Yeah, I expected to see like a team try to make a drone out of like a human shape and fly it around and see what happens at night or something like that. But I was very shocked to see that it was about the Chicago Mothman and more. They even talked about O'Hare.
Yeah. My main gripe though is the sound effect that they kept using for the Mothman, that high pitched screechy noise.
Yeah, that's not the sound I would pick for Mothman.
I fucking hated it. I'm like, stop with the goddamn noise. This thing is just, that's what it does. It just annoys people. It's not trying to kill people. It just screams right outside their window late at night. And it's just really obnoxious.
What an a-hole.
Oh yeah, what a fucking dick.
So what did you think about the new cases that they talked about on this episode of Unsolved Mysteries?
Well, I thought it was, I think it was like a year or two ago when we did our first episode on the Lake Michigan Mothman, which is primarily sightings in and around Chicago. But we only went up to, I think, like the year 2000 or something. So we promised to do a follow-up episode, which we still will with modern sightings. But these ones were even more modern than the ones that I had read about. These seem to be all like centered around the last like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird to see that. That's very much still going on.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know, like because with Point Pleasant, you'll have people that still say they see the sightings, but it's not like as widespread as it was in the 60s during that year when it was like everywhere and thousands of people saw it. You know, it's now I feel like it's more kind of like one of those things with like people that see the Bunny Man or the Goat Man, where it's just like they heard the story from the area, so now everything that they see that's weird is the Mothman.
Right, right. That kind of leads me to a question I have for you
Yeah.
for this. And you kind of nailed it on the head there. With the Point Pleasant stuff, you couldn't help. I think sensationalism is the right word for that case. It was everybody was seeing it. Like you said, there's dozens and dozens and dozens of people seeing it, credible people. But with the modern day sightings, it's these weird little one-offs, and it's not always like a Mothman type thing, which we'll get into later. Like, we've studied Mothman. I love Mothman. You love Mothman. But do you find yourself kind of maybe chuckling and sneering at these modern Mothman or / flying humanoid stories because they're not being seen by like dozens of people at a time?
No, to me, the thing that is the weirdest for me, well, I shouldn't say the weirdest, the thing that I guess captures my interest more than anything is the fact that most of these sightings are different. And the only thing that really links them together is that it's a dark figure with red glowing eyes. But other than that, the descriptions are they're all over the place.
Yeah.
And so to me, and we did talk about it a little bit when we were discussing the Lake Michigan Mothman, and remember specifically the one witness who said that she had seen like 4 different types of Mothman, but it was all in the same location, so it was more likely that it was like a shapeshifter sort of thing.
Whoa.
So I'm wondering if this is just like some sort of shape-shifting being that just kind of takes different humanoid shapes when it goes out. Like maybe it's not like it doesn't have any specific ties to a certain form. When it takes shape, it's like I need 2 arms, 2 legs, wings, and a face, and that's it. Because sometimes they'll talk about it being like super tall, like 10 feet tall. Then other times it's 6 feet tall. Sometimes it's stocky figure. Sometimes it's a gaunt figure. Sometimes it's got horns. Sometimes there's no horns. Sometimes a head. Sometimes no head. And there's just like all these different types, and the only, or I don't even want to say types, but different descriptions. And the one I can't, to me, the fact that they're different, that they're so different, I know in a lot of people's minds that would indicate that they're full of shit. But to me, because the archetype of the Mothman is out there, that's everybody who is aware of the Mothman knows what the Mothman looks like now. So if you're trying to just like garner attention because you saw the Mothman, you're going to follow the description as it's out there. But you've got all these different people saying they're seeing different things that are still similar. And typically it's a winged figure with the dark gray or black skin or fur in some cases. Sometimes it's leathery skin, sometimes it's fur, sometimes it's feathers, but always with the red eyes, always with the red glowing eyes.
Mm-hmm. Now, if I remember correctly, the witnesses they talked to on the show focused on seeing more of a regular traditional Mothman. But the show does talk about others, but the actual witnesses they talked to were talking about a winged glowing red.
Right.
Okay.
But with different types of descriptions, though. Because I remember one specifically saying it looked like it was a thin, gaunt figure, which is not what we've come to expect from the Mothman. And it's really weird to me, like just getting back to the original sighting of the Mothman with the original witnesses. When they saw it, they said it didn't have arms. The wings were essentially the arms, and it didn't seem like it had a head. It seemed like the eyes were set into what would be its shoulders, kind of like a Blemier sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But with wings. And then from there, the sightings completely changed. People were seeing it with arms, and just even look at the fucking statue in Point Pleasant. It looks like a nihilist.
Yeah, that's one thing. I love the statue, and I don't know if...
The statue's awesome, but it doesn't look like any of the descriptions. They gave it butterfly wings and like this weird robo-insectoid face. Like it for real looks like if a nihilist had wings.
Right, and I mean, it's been a long time since I dug into Mothman. I mean, that I did that when I was a kid, and studied that throughout my life up until we did the show. But I think that the depiction of Mothman with the head and arms comes from more artist depictions than witness testimony. I think they were pretty consistent. I know that there were some people that said it had arms and a head, but I think that mostly came from people doing their artist rendition of Mothman. Even when I do my own little Mothman character, he has a head.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not finding in pop culture, you're not finding the traditional Mothman anywhere.
Right. Yeah, 100%. And isn't that kind of unique to Mothman?
What where the actual description is nowhere in pop culture, even though Mothman is everywhere in pop culture?
Yeah, well, or at least like the depiction that's in pop culture is not the description of the creature at all.
Yeah, it's weird.
Really different, missing a fucking head and shit, and eyes in its shoulders. That's way different than somebody with a head with glowing eyes, especially if glowing eyes.
We need to normalize the Blemmier Mothman.
I know. I really want to. I want Mothman to be some type of cave dwelling Blemmier that lived out there since ancient times or something like that. I really like that. Would be way more horrifying to see than a humanoid figure.
Yeah, because it's. I mean, not meaning from outer space, but it's so alien to what we are familiar with. Like, even think of like Bigfoot or gray aliens. You know, they're pretty standard. They have a head, arms, legs, torso. This thing was a fucking creepy abomination.
Absolutely. Imagine running into Bigfoot in the woods and its face being blank, but then its stomach opened up with like these big square teeth, you know?
Oh God. Yeah. like a fucking MODOK face in his torso.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. It would be way more weird than seeing just a Bigfoot.
They would be terrifying. It would be so fucking like, just picture something with the stature of Bigfoot, you know, fucking 10-foot tall thing. No head though. And it's got a big MODOK face in its chest.
Oh, God. Imagine how loud it would be, too, if it just gave a fucking Yeti roar.
Oh, God, it would be so scary. I hate it so much. Oh, I want to burn it.
Another question I had for you after watching that episode and finding out they weren't going to do, like, styrofoam dummies and reenactments. I was so excited to see the traditional Unsolved Mysteries witness testimony. And it was going to be so cool. I was so stoked to see that in a modern setting, modern testimony from witnesses. What did you think about the people who gave their testimonies on that episode?
I mean, it was pretty standard stuff, I would say. Just people talking, you know, about their sighting with dramatic music and reenactments.
Right. I was very pleased to see how plain they were. There was no Hat Man lady in there at all.
Oh, if only there was. I forgot all about Hat Man lady, and I'm so glad you just reminded me of her.
I was waiting for one person to be like, he knocks on my window, and I let him in, and he sings to me with chirps.
Yeah. I was waiting for that as well. Because I remember Linda. I can't remember her last name, but one of the original people who saw him, who later said that he does wait outside her window, and like she sees him and he's like crouching on the roof outside her window and he looks sad and lonely, and it's just, I'm like, come on, that's so fucking stupid. Let the poor guy in.
Yeah, I think if I saw a Mothman in a tree across the street looking sad, I would open my door and like wave with my arm. Come on. I got hot cocoa.
Come on, buddy. The one thing that I did, the story of the woman who was taking out her garbage and she saw Mothman like 10 feet away and she ran back inside and didn't turn around, but she said that she felt like he was following her, and then she got inside and looked out and he wasn't there. He was probably just trying to befriend her. Like, he's probably like, hey, I'm new to the neighborhood, just where are you going? Fucking rude old bitch. Yeah. Fuck you. And then he leaves. And I felt bad. If Mothman rolls up on my front curb, I'm not going to run, Mateo. I will stand and I will see what's up. Because you never hear of anyone being attacked by the Mothman, so why run from it? He doesn't seem like he's violent.
100%.
I mean, the lady was so scared she dropped her baby in Point Pleasant. He didn't eat her baby. She was able to pick the baby up and run.
Yeah, that would have been like a chicken nugget to Mothman.
Yeah, if Mothman wanted to eat that baby, he would have pushed Mom over and just fucking snagged the baby. Mothman's not violent.
Yeah, he'd even like grab it and fly off with it like a thunderbird would.
Yeah,
He
none
didn't
of that.
give a shit.
None of that. He let Mom pick it up, and he's like, "Why is everybody so afraid of me? I just want to be friends."
No, yeah, I'm not running either. Tell me the danger, Mothman.
Yeah, like let me in your inner circle. I want to know what's up.
Yeah.
Are you related to Indrid Cold? And then he's like, who the fuck is Indrid Cold? All right, exactly what I wanted to hear. Thank you, Mothman.
You've said enough.
You finally put that mystery to bed.
But I was so glad to see that they stuck with that traditional, just letting people tell their stories and seeing their reactions to it. There was oh God, I don't know how to say this, Mike, without being mean, but the fucking tweakers.
Oh yeah, so those two, I did not buy into their story at all. Okay. To me, they definitely seemed like they were tweakers, and I was wondering why
they were there.
Yeah, why? Because I mean, you just.
How would we say this, Mike? Nicely. Should we use code like we'll call them the Go Fast Sisters? I don't know.
The Go Fast?
I don't know.
What are they, a Tic Tac?
I don't know.
I'm gonna just be straight up. They seemed like they were maybe current or past tweakers.
I would say current, and
or maybe also they dabble in the crack cocaine. That's just my take on it.
Mine too. When they started talking, I watched the episode with my daughters, and when they showed up, I went to say, "What the fuck?" Just because like one of them's clearly a tweaker. And before I went to say it, my daughter was all, "What the fuck?" I was like, well, you kind of had the same reaction. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And they were the ones that saw Iron Man, weren't they?
I think so.
Which is a fucking awesome story. I want it to be real, but also can I share a tweaker story?
Hell yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to say any names. Because this is somebody who is I guess technically family,
okay,
but not blood related, like married into family. Anyway, not on my side of the family, but she got into drugs a bit. She moved out to the and started dabbling in methamphetamines and started making that a habit. So I didn't know any of this at the time, but she knew that I did this show. And so she contacts my girlfriend and she's like, you need to tell Mike to give me a call. I had a crazy UFO experience last night, and I got to tell him about it. So I may have actually told you this story off air, but she calls me and she tells me that she woke up in the middle of the night and looked out the window and she saw these triangular UFOs flying around the sky. And she said one flew through a cloud, but it like cut the cloud. She said it was like if you were to take a knife and cut through like a piece of cake, and it did that to the cloud. And then these she said it was like gelatinous spirals. She said it looked like DNA, like when you see the DNA strand. She said it looked like that started coming down from the sky after it cut through the cloud. And she collected it in a Tupperware container and put it in the freezer. And when she went to check it out the next day, there was nothing in there. And I'm like, wow, that is a fucking crazy story. And she's like, and I woke up my family to see it, and my son and my husband wouldn't look, but my daughter also confirmed. And so I like, this blew my mind. I was like, holy shit. So then I talked to her husband. They ended up splitting and he moved back. So once he moved back, I was talking to him about it. And he's like, she is so full of shit and fucked up. He goes, there was nothing going on. We looked out the window. There was nothing going on. She said that she collected this sample that rained from the sky. There was nothing in this thing. She was fucked up on meth and she was tweaking, and that's what happened. And I'm like, oh, that's so disappointing. I hate that.
Yep, that's meth, dude.
Yep. So getting back to the mother-daughter tweaker pair, they said that they saw Iron Man in the sky. And what they said, it looked like a man standing upright, but in the sky. And he was flying, but like staying upright. So to me, I'm wondering if maybe they saw a balloon and just kind of turned it into a flying Iron Man.
Yeah, I mean,
or maybe they didn't see anything and turned it into a flying Iron Man.
Right. According to Homegirl's scabs, it could have been a bird, as far as I'm concerned.
It could have been the wind.
Yeah.
She saw the wind and it was Iron Man.
You had the same reaction, like your response to me asking you about them is the exact same thing that I said. It was like, why are they here? Why were these people picked as witnesses? Yeah. To me, it was that obvious. I was like, whoa.
Right.
But
it did seem very obvious.
Yeah. Now, we've covered flying humanoids. We've covered flying humanoids before, other than Mothman, outside of Mothman.
Yeah.
What did you think about their case? I mean, there's so many variants of flying humanoids going on in Chicago. But what do you think?
Well, not even just Chicago. Like, do you remember in 2020? I think it was towards the end. I know one happened in December. I can't remember when the first one happened, but in California there was the pilots that reported seeing what looked like a man with a jetpack flying.
Yes, yeah. They all laughed about it the first time it happened, and then it happened again, and it wasn't so funny.
Yeah, and it happened. There was one where they actually got a picture of it. It was flying near Catalina Island, and it was just flying, upright. And it was the picture was taken by a flight instructor at 3,000 feet is where they took the picture, and it looked like a human wearing a jetpack, but there's no like exhaust coming from it. He's just flying.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember those pictures. I remember all the jetpack people coming out and saying, like, no, there's no jetpack that can fly at 3,000 feet.
Yeah, right. That's far too high. Yeah. It's weird, man. Like, what the fuck is that all about?
Yeah, I mean, it's because it's the human thing and not a UFO. I think that it gets kind of laughed at a little and, like, pushed off a little bit easier than UFOs. But I think that is bizarre because, again, it's so many different types of beings. Like you said, an Iron Man. Some of them are dudes flying in a Superman formation with their arms stretched forward. Some of them have wings. They don't have wings. It's almost like the Hat Man, right? Like, I'll never forget that cool chart they held up in that documentary and it was just like 45 different things. And they were all dark, shadowy shapes, but they varied from blob masses to like preachers and farmers that were just all shadowed out. And we're kind of seeing that same variation here. It's so bizarre. I mean, with all these sightings, do you think we would see them land somewhere? Somebody would find where they're nesting or living at this point in this day and age?
What if they're like not exactly physical? And that's when I was talking earlier about them like assuming a shape. Maybe it's just when they manifest into our reality or dimension or whatever, that they assume a shape that's like conducive to moving around in our reality.
Right,
so like,
right.
Well, I need arms and legs and wings. Okay,
exactly.
There we go. And then we're good.
Yeah, like what would be the best shape to take to be in this environment and stay stealthy? Like completely black figure Wings would be helpful to get the fuck out of Dodge when you need to. I mean, its shape and stuff like that, or it's almost perfectly designed with thought behind it to remain stealthy. And if that's the case, why does it keep showing itself to people? Like 10 feet away from people in a tree, hissing at them.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, what's its end game here? And I wish people would stop running away from it and just like stand there and be like, "What are we doing here, bud?"
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't want to get carried off by that fucking thing either, though.
Yeah, but there's never been a report of an attempt at it, even. Like, people just run away like bitches. Come on.
That's why, though. That's what I mean. What if they didn't run away? I bet you there'd be dozens.
If they didn't run away, then we'd probably have very different stories about what's up with Mothman instead of people being like, "I was so scared. I had to run away. I couldn't even look behind me." And meanwhile, if they did look behind them, they would have seen fucking Mothman crying hysterically like, "Why won't you love me? I just want to love you."
He's just chasing them with flowers in his hand. Wait.
Yeah, what's it gonna take? Here's a pizza.
Everybody said they saw me on the bridge. I had a lady up there. I was on a date, goddammit.
You guys don't know.
So yeah, they touched on O'Hare, which was cool to hear about again. I mean, that's still... I mean, why do you think us as a people are doing this? Like, we're getting... I said a year ago, like the footage of UFOs that are coming out like every other day is crazy, and that's just gotten even more insane. And I will point out that those videos come out more rapidly as AI progresses. But why do you think, as a society, we like the jetpack man? Like, why was that? Why were there not like fighter jets flying around that area for that month? Why was there no investigation done? Why do people...
Well, there was investigation. It was reported to both the FBI and the FAA, but and I think the second sighting caused them to delay some flights as well. But I mean, what are you gonna scramble fighter jets for something man-sized? That who knows if they'll even find it? Who knows if it'll even still be there?
To me, if it's a matter of airspace and it's been seen multiple times in the same area, fuck yeah, I'm scrambling fighter jets for something man-sized, because that could be, dude, that could be some fucking enemy of our country in an Iron Man suit, literally.
Oh, could you imagine? Oh my God, that'd be incredible.
Dude, it would be terrifying and rad.
I think it would just be rad. I would be so into it. Like, fuck yeah. Like, you got me out here rooting for terrorists. If terrorists come flying in Iron Man armor, I'm on their side now. Sorry, guys. They'll be like, yeah, this guy knows what's up, and we'll be friends. We'll hang out. I'll get my own Iron Man suit. You know, whatever it takes. Give me that suit.
Whatever it takes. Oh, man. What else did they have in that show?
It was mostly just like the standard... You know, I saw a Mothman creeping in a tree and he was hissing at me, or I saw a Mothman while I was taking out the garbage and he was hissing at me.
He's a hisser.
You know, they did go back and it was nice to hear Robert Stack's voice, because they did show a clip from the original time they aired the Point Pleasant story.
Yeah. I remember when I was rewatching the old episodes, boy, was I wrong about when they stopped making that show. I guess it was just me not being able to watch that show anymore for a multitude of reasons. But I thought they stopped that show way earlier than they did. There's like an episode on 9/11 and shit with Robert Stack. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he did it. I'm pretty sure he did the show up until he died.
Yes, he did. That fucking trooper.
Yeah, fuck yeah, Robert Stack. Dude's a man.
Yeah, watching Unsolved Mysteries first and then seeing Airplane just made him all the more awesome.
Or how about Basketball?
Yeah, exactly.
Hanging by his neck in his fucking closet. Love that.
Oh my God. I'm making that my ringtone now.
Oh, man. That movie is so underrated, by the way.
Oh, man, dude. When that came out and I got it on VHS, I wore that out. I literally wore it out.
It's seriously so good. I don't know why it gets so much hate.
I mean, it's they gave the guys from South Park the ability to make a live action movie. It's going to be crazy. And the thing is I'm not like that much of a South Park fan at all. I thought,
really? I fucking love South Park.
I never watched it. I watched the movie when it came out in the theater because like I think it was like a date when I was a young kid or something like that. But I think what they produced with film and live action stuff was like the slapstick that hasn't been in movies since Airplane and Naked Gun. I wish they would make way more live action movies that are goofy like that. I thought it was fucking.
Did you ever see Orgasmo?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's another great one.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fucking. I think he's the guy who holds the boom, and he's always like, I don't want to sound queer or anything, but I think unicorns are totally kick-ass. And then he just throughout the movie he just keeps saying that I don't want to sound queer or anything, and then he ends with, I don't want to sound queer or anything, but I'd like to make love to you tonight.
What the jeez.
Oh my god, those fucking guys. Anyway, they got nothing to do with the Mothman. It's just a little tangent that we do.
Yeah, we grew up in some wild times.
Yeah. Did you ever hear? I just recently heard about this case. It ties in with the flying humanoid thing, I guess. But you were a Twilight Zone guy, right?
100%.
So you know the airplane episode, Terror at 20,000 feet or whatever.
Yes, sir. William Shatner did the original, and John Lithgow did the remake in the movie.
Oh, I love the John Lithgow one.
Oh, terrifying.
So
it is. It's literally part of why I won't fly, like I won't go in the water because of Jaws, is because of that episode.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
It's going to be my luck that fucking sky gremlins are real and they're going to make their presence known the day I jump on a fucking airplane.
Yeah, that's it. Well, there's a case that's very similar to that.
Oh, Christ.
With the exception that they weren't trying to fucking destroy the engine. But it happened on Air Mexico in 1990, and the flight attendant was the first one to see it. She thought she saw something in the window, and when she got a good look at it, there was a pale face with big eyes looking at her through the window.
Ooh, like up close?
Yeah.
Oh,
like remember in the original when he opens the shade and he sees the gremlin or whatever looking right up close in the window.
Right before the commercial break, it just zooms in and he's looking side to side.
It was like that, except it was like basically like a gray alien.
Oh.
But these things were on the wing of the plane, like just standing. There were 3 of them just standing there on the wing of the plane. Like, hey, what's up? As the fucking plane is cruising. You know, like they're surfing on the wing of the plane, like no big deal.
Whoa.
But they themselves were not flying, but they were, surfing on the wing of a plane. So what the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's almost different than flying humanoids. That's the opposite of flying humanoids. That's flying non-humanoids.
Well, it's humanoids still. It's
yeah. But yeah,
arm, leg, head.
That's weird. Right up to the window, huh?
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, and there's I couldn't find it. I remember hearing about it a while back, and this particular story, for anyone that wants to hear all the details of it, I'm planning on doing a future Quick and the Weird on this incident specifically. So, if you're interested in that, go check out Patreon because that's where it's gonna be. But it ties in here, so I wanted to at least mention it because it's a cool story.
Nice.
Yeah, and plug our Patreon because we're fucking shit at doing that.
Yeah, our print club is upgrading to like glossy photo prints now because I hate doing the foil ones. It's not. I'll mention here just so like the print club members know. It's like doing the prints. Like I sent Mike a bunch of like failed prints of why it's happening, and it's literally just down to manufacturers changing their product to save money. The paper company I use has changed their paper, and it's literally so rough and shitty that I can't print on it. The foil company I use has cheaped out on their stuff. It won't. It's just everything with that was shit. So
that's everything, man. Like
yeah, oh yeah.
You can't buy shit that fucking is quality anymore. Everything is made to be replaced within a year. It's fucking bullshit.
Oh yeah.
But the prices keep going up. quality goes down, prices go up. Welcome to late stage capitalism.
Yeah.
Let's all fucking go to hell in a handbasket together. Whee!
Yep. Yeah, dude, we made a couple alien presidential election stickers for the sticker club. I think I'm gonna make one of them a meteor and like say vote for the impact.
Yes. Yeah, please. I'm always voting for the impact.
Yeah. It'll just say wrap it up.
Yeah. End this now, 2024.
Thank you for listening to the Whatcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube. Enjoy the podcast. Get yourself a Whatcast t-shirt or a sticker pack. Who was that dude on that one episode? Try the links in Homie's page. All this and more can be found at www.thewhatcasters.com. Thanks again for listening and have a great week.